Boy, oh boy, do I have something for you today. I have something that not a lot of people are looking at. And no, the title of the video is not a clickbait. We are going to look at Bitcoin because we probably have a move to the downside within 48 hours. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at and how we can trade it. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are also in the description. Without further ado, let's start diving in. As I said, we are going to look at Bitcoin and we are building up a little bit of a case to go lower, but there is some liquidity on the top. Let's quickly look here at the chart at how we kind of left it. The last video we made, we were somewhere here, then we moved up and then we moved down again. That happened yesterday. We're going to zoom in a minute, as of for now, we have a daily level above us that is still the same, 27,193. We have those SOPs at the highs at 27,480. Then we have another daily from this top right here. We're already looking at that for a while, 27,707. And then eventually we have the highs here at 2837. Underneath us, we also created a daily level, and then we still have a weekly level. Daily is at 26,207 and the weekly is at 25,826. Okay, cool. Let's zoom in quickly to the price action of yesterday because during the London session we slowly went up and then eventually we need to be here. We slowly went up and then eventually when New York opened we came down again and we completely retraced the move, something that we have seen now already dozens of times in the last couple of weeks and months because the price action is just very weak. And this last move here to the upside was also on a decrease of open interest, so there were not new long positions opening and getting into the market, but there were short positions getting out of the market, meaning that if you close short you need to buy back and therefore you're going up a little bit, but usually those are unsustainable moves, and that's also exactly what you see. Well, if you zoom in even a little bit more here on the 5 minute, then you can see that we created that high and eventually we also then came back, hit the golden pocket and went lower. If you just only use market Cipher B, there were no confirmations if I'm not mistaken. But only if you would have looked at bearish CVD, then you would have seen that there was some confirmation. So yeah, a little bit harder or a little bit more advanced to get in. Some people also look a bit more at order blocks and say, okay, well, I saw some liquidity, we hit some order blocks and now we're going lower. We also failed to really create new higher highs and therefore I got short. And eventually, you know, with a lot of times then you see that the move is slowly rolling over and then eventually we go pretty fast. Nice thing is actually, if you are bearish, is that there is actually quite some room to go to the downside. Not only the levels that I just mentioned with the daily, the weekly and the value area low. Let's quickly get the volume profile back in. That gives a more complete idea of where we're at. So we bounced off there from that point of control, that thick red line as you can see. But we are also slowly getting this kind of arch idea where you're just slowly going higher, 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 and that is then also creating liquidity. And you know that most of the time it's just liquidity fast from the top to the bottom and the other way around. So rotation, bottom, top, top, bottom, top, etc., etc. So having that for now, it looks like that it might be nice actually to go lower. I think actually that we're not going then to hold the daily level because there's then still these lows here underneath. I think we're actually then going to break that point of control and it's a very low, and I'm really actually looking out for that weekly at 25,826. Very nice if you want to get into a short. That opportunity might arise pretty fast because if we are taking the current low that we made in yesterday and then pull a fib all the way to the top, then you can see that we almost hit the golden pocket. So somewhere from the golden pocket 786 value area high would actually be a very nice moment to get into the trade, to play it to a long. We can then also create a bearish divergence on market Cipher. So if that would occur, I will definitely trade it. We could of course also squeeze up, and then I will be looking just very simply from the top here, take out the top and then go lower, or the daily to then go lower that you also do something like this where the price makes a higher high and then eventually market cipher then already creates lower highs, and then eventually you roll over and then take the short. So there are multiple ideas. Would we really go higher, then we go to the daily and even higher. But like I said, we are for now looking at going lower, not only here for liquidity but also because of some statistics. If I am looking here, and I hope it is visible for you, then we're seeing that for the month of September we are up shy of 2%, and that would be pretty crazy because in the last 6 consecutive years we produced a negative return. So if we will go out at this level, that will be then breaking the quote-unquote cycle, and then we would have a positive return. And September usually is the worst month for stocks and for crypto, so I would be pretty surprised if we would go down. And let's say we are going down somewhere on the low end of all of these percentages that we see here, that let's say a minus of 3 to 4%. Well, we're 2% up right now, so to then hit that 3 or 4%, you actually really need to go much lower to take out at least the weekly, or even lower than that. We're talking about 25k, 25,500-ish to produce such a negative result. Is there something that could trigger that move to the downside as where we are right now? Yes, there is. If I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is the expiration of future contracts. I think it's always the last Friday of the month. What is that? Well, then there are traders, they're opening up future contracts, so they're saying, I bet that the price in the future is X and X amount. They buy that contract, and then once the price is higher or lower, they can sell it and then take the profit or the loss. The thing is that once they start closing these contracts, they start expiring or dumping them on the market, they need to sell off. But if there's then no one who wants to buy it, then of course you're getting it dumped to the downside. If there are buyers in the market, then you can get a reaction to the side, so just sideways reaction. Then you know, okay, the buyers and sellers are stable. Or if price moves up, that is usually very bullish. That means that there are a lot of buyers in the market. Well, I don't have to tell you that if you look at this chart right here, that we're just constantly grinding lower, creating lower highs and lower lows. So I wouldn't be surprised if because of the expiration of those contracts we eventually are going lower. One other thing that I want to show you, that is the last Friday of previous month, because I made a video and I think I said something like we're going out with minus of 7%. Let me see, that must be the last day of August. Here it is. That is this red candle right here. I will mark it real quick. That is this one. And I said something like, yeah, we're going out with a minus of 7 or 8%. That video was out, and 1 or 2 hours later we started to dump. We dumped here for the entire day 5%, and matter of fact the all the way from the top to the bottom was even 7.2%. So eventually we closed the month of August with a minus of 12 or 13%, quite a lot. Let me quickly check. Oh, look at that, August, almost 12%. So what I'm trying to say is here that don't be fooled, because we still have 48 hours. Yes, Saturday is the truth, I get that, but usually on Saturday never happens. So don't be fooled. We could see another big wick to the downside, and I bet you that this also has to do with the expiration of future contracts. So be careful, please. My bet is, if you put a gun against my head, hey, where are we going for the next 48 hours? I would say we're going lower. Where that eventually will be, it's a little bit hard. Like I said, we first have these lows. Excuse me. We first have these lows underneath here to take out. It stops somewhere at 26,000 ish, but actually I want us to really go lower to that weekly. At least there will be 25,826. Would we lose that too? I think then we can look at these lows right here at approximately 25k. So be careful. The next 48 hours are going to be very interesting. If we can hold up price, then we are going to break the cycle. We are going to break the spell of a negative September month. If not, then we can expect quite the move here to the downside to still produce a negative result. And then I kind of now know what I'm looking out for. Could be very lucrative, but it could also be very wicked to the upside and to the downside. You now know how to get into a short trade or to look for targets to the downside for a long trade. Because of course, if we are going lower and we're doing something like this, we can also create then bullish divergences again to get into that long trade, to then start the month of October very nice and then just right away shoot up and then produce a very good result. So be mindful of both sides of the trade. Just trade what you see in the charts, your levels, your confirmations. If I see ABC, then I will do this. If I see that, then I will do that. That's pretty much all there is. So be careful, exciting 2 days, stick to the charts, and I hope that you are able to trade and to make some profit. If you like the content, guys, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links you also find in the description. Without further ado, see you next one. Bye bye.